Hello and welcome to another engaging episode of Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwibike. In a bit, we'll be going to our newspaper headlines to see what we have for this morning, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. So while we get everything all, made possible for you, please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. With me in the studios today to do justice to our newspaper reviews is Emefiele Nago. He is a journalist and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning
Thank
today.
you very much.
So quickly, let's start up with the Punch newspaper for today, and the banner headline says the Senate to probe Buhari government, Emefiele, over 30 trillion naira CBN loan. And the rider there says Senate links food security crisis to reckless ways and means loans under Buhari's cabinet. And also the sub rider there says panel to investigate CBN's 10 trillion naira anchor borrowers scheme, $2.4 billion forex fraud, and others. And we have at the bottom of that same story, motorists lament poor drainage as flood submerges Lagos roads. Emeka, let's take a look at this issue of the Senate desiring to probe Buhari government and Emefiele over 30 trillion CBN loan. Why are we having this sort of discord and a divide, a sudden abrupt divide between the APC from 2023, May 29th, and the APC that existed in the last 8 years of Buhari's administration? Because it seems to me, the center is no longer holding. Things are falling apart.
Let me just tell you, don't get deceived. These people are just looking for distractions. There is hunger in the land. Senate to. You know what I advise? Let President Bola Tinubu issue a special proclamation and shut down the National Assembly for 6 months. They are
constitutional.
Yeah, why not? He issued a proclamation to inaugurate the National Assembly. Yes, he can issue a proclamation. Yes, to suspend the National Assembly. Suspend
when there's distress, that is, of course.
Yes, in a state of we're in a state of emergency. There is no food. People are threatening to erupt in anger. We're talking of Senate to. I'm not bothered about all these things you're saying. We need to let's shut down this country first of all and deal with all these things. In such a state of emergency, you can actually, instead of blowing big grammar, you go and get the money, you trace the money that people have taken and collect it from them. This money belongs to government. You are saying you will probe. Is it not money you will spend? You waste more money in probing. What are we talking about? Were we not witnesses in this country when the federal government, when the Buhari government took 23 trillion, as ways and means, through ways and means borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria? So now it's not 30. How much? 30
trillion naira.
So what are we talking about? And they are still going to spend some millions probing them. You see, let me tell you something. We actually play with a lot of things in this country, and which is very sad. What are you probing? Ahmad Lawan, who was Senate president, he's in the Senate. Femi Gbajabiamila, who was the speaker, is in the Senate. Is the chief of staff to the president. So what else are you looking for? Just sit both men in a room. Gentlemen, what happened? Because some senators and reps were there. They were the ones that approved this thing. That is one. Two, let me tell you, if you want to probe the Buhari government, there are many things you probe Buhari's government to. Remember, Buhari took $3.4 billion special drawing rights loan from the IMF for COVID response. Did you see anything? Was there any COVID response? Nothing. People just sat down at home for 6 months, lamenting in hunger. Nigerian politicians have weaponized hunger and illiteracy. And so they are very happy when there are occasions where they can actually show that, that sad human trait.
But what
know.
you're saying,
So,
it can only be possible when the executive is, not in line with the legislature. But of course, right now it seems like the executive are in cahoot with the legislature.
so why is the country not moving? In Buhari's first term, they said it was because Saraki of PDP, of an opposition party, was the Senate president. And that's why things didn't move. Today, what is going on? Isn't the situation worse now? You see, Nigerians love to just make excuses, just look for phantom reasons here and there. Instead of dealing with the issues directly as they are, we like to deodorize them, run around, run circles around, waste time, waste a lot of time, speak a lot of big English, and then another thing comes to take our attention, then we move away from that.
Now let's link this to the next story. Motorists lament poor drainage as flood submerged Lagos Road. Now I want you to tie what you had going on with development and leadership capacity and efficiency in Lagos State, because it's so embarrassing actually, to have a crown state, a crown, former colony like Lagos still observing and experiencing such issue in 2024. What do you think about that?
No, well, you have to look at the issue of the huge population of Lagos.
But we have other cities with more population than Lagos.
Yes, they've been bought.
And they have been able to manage them.
Yes, but you still have issues of flooding in countries from time to time.
But our own is bad. Open drainages everywhere.
You see, people
drainage connection.
People dump refuse.
Yes.
Indiscriminately. People build on drainage channels. People build without approvals or permits. So what do you expect? People block, when you block drainage channels, where will the water go to? It will return to the road. It's as simple as ABC. The state government has tried. The successive governments of Lagos State have really tried to open up the canals. But I think they need to go deeper than this, surface canals. They need to go deeper. They may need to go deeper, much more deeper, like you have in some advanced countries. But that will cost a lot of money. And that will mean you will have to remove so many buildings. And housing is one of the areas where Lagos State government is making money, property. So they will not do that. In fact, not even by any stretch of luck will they want to contemplate doing that. So I think Lagos State government needs to empower its local governments more to engage in regular municipal sanitation.
But do you see
cleaning the gutters?
Do you see that? Do you see that coming in the future?
I'm talking of today. I'm not like Senate too. I'm talking of today. Right today, Lagos State government, because you'll find out that a lot of these things that constitute refuse, they emanate from the streets. They emanate from local governments from municipal roads to state roads, federal roads. So Lagos State government needs to really go deep into the municipal areas in conjunction with the local governments to deal with issues of refuse disposal.
Exactly.
Its PPP model in refuse disposal needs to, they need to do something about it, because it shows that there are still a lot of gaps.
But of course, it's
in
still
that policy.
very, very working. But let's move on to next Delhi, and this is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. And the banner headline here says, NECA or marketers to federal government shun pride, review subsidy removal, flotation of the Naira. And down below that particular banner headline, we have economic hardship, saboteurs working against us. That's coming from the Vice President, Shatima. And also, we have it here also on the top strip of the same newspaper. Labour Party crisis. State chairman deny plot to suspend Obi backs Abure. Now, let's talk about the statement from Shetima, saying that saboteurs are working against them. Who is he referring to, the saboteurs?
Why are you asking me? Number 2 man in the country is crying that saboteurs. So is it me, an ordinary Nigerian, looking for food? I'm also hungry. Those on the streets are saying being power. Me too, I'm part of them. Being power.
And this is
we are hungry.
That just got approved 15 billion naira to renovate or
and then you are saying saboteurs. What are you supposed to do with saboteurs? Is it not to identify them and deal with them? Which other saboteurs do you have more than the banking system?
Exactly.
See, the basic thing which some of us cried out about when Emefiele was appointed was that we said that things were going to go south. You can't take somebody who has a background in retail banking, bring money come, retail banking, and go and make the person a central banker. Central bankers are groomed as central bankers. You don't just take anybody.
From what institution?
The MD of one microfinance bank, banker, and then you got to make him the MD of the central bank. That is where we missed it. You miss it with Emefiele. Now you have come to Cardoso, you have missed it because they are looking at it mainly from that retail banking point of view. And it is not like that.
Sanusi was equally an active banker. And he did...
From what side?
Awesomely well. Too.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is people groomed as central bankers. Take somebody from within the system, from within the central bank. You know this issue of, okay, you went to bring a retired military officer and put him in charge of customs. Did that improve the revenue? Why, even under Buhari, we are still borrowing? Let's learn to build institutions. We are destroying our institutions with all these distortions. Nigeria police, okay, we will now, for instance, go and bring somebody who was maybe MD of one security company, make him IG of police. Or go and take one security man, make him chief of army staff. You don't do that. So don't do that to our financial institutions because it will cause distortions in the economy. Groom central bankers. There are people who are very qualified within the central bank whom you can make central bank governor. People who won't, be out to, impress people, to bamboozle people. No, but know that the role of the central bank is what they should focus on. So they will not be going into anchor borrowers, all those tangential things that should be the function of retail banking. That should be the function of money, deposit money banks. That's not the job of the CBN, to be lending money. It's a lender of last resort. It lends to banks. How can the CBN now be disbursing money? Say, see, the CBN has a microfinance bank. Let's have. What is all those things? That is not central banking. You must groom people from within the system. That is one. Two, Shetima talking about saboteurs. What does he mean by saboteurs? Because Shetima has been making some statements that show he doesn't even understand what the problem is. Let me give you an idea, part of the problem, what he's calling saboteurs. You see, I understand. I was reading something, yesterday that at the time, there was this idea of, that came up in terms of remittance of diaspora, diaspora inflows. That, okay, pay Nigerians in naira, and then retain the dollars or euro or pounds outside Nigeria. That's a major problem. It's a laudable policy. But you know what? A country with a serious central bank will actually collect that money. And then, if he's saying he's paying recipients in naira, it will pay recipients in naira. But the question I've been asking is, where do these diaspora remittances go to? Where are they? I'm talking about the money. Nigerians don't pay naira. Naira is not an internationally tradable currency.
They pay
dollars. So where is the money? Why don't we get value as Nigeria in the currency yes, I'm not saying you will fly the currency to Nigeria, but we have a balance of payments issue. That thing has been there since the time of Jonathan. negative balance of payments. So why don't we use those diaspora remittances to, for instance, negotiate certain trade deals? Because it's something that you can say, okay, you can reasonably forecast what might come in. Businesses do it and say, okay, when we're opening, okay, we intend to open a new line, a new manufacturing line, a new production line that we expect, okay, that will service a part of the country. And so that's why we're asking for this bank loan, so that, all those kind of things, we can actually do certain things with others, not just because, a major part of the diaspora remittances coming for welfare issues. But like some well-meaning Nigerians have said, that if we sort out some of these distortions, we can actually encourage Nigerians to remit more to developmental issues.
Of course, knowing that the money, this paid in is going to be collected in dollars. So let's finally let's move on to the Guardian newspaper, and the banner headline says confusion as Naira crisis defies intervention, fuels inflation, and also like we had on last paper, Falana insists on price control as Shatima blames saboteurs for food crisis. Marketers seek state of emergency on a refinery, and 4 in every 10 Nigerian are in debt. Please, can you say something about that?
When people are hungry, you are saying 1. Did you say 1 in every 10 Nigerians? No. That's too conservative. 8 out of 10 Nigerians are indebted. Do you know we practice African socialism? For every Nigerian who is working, you have 5 automatic dependents. Automatic. I'm not talking of others that will come along the way. So those are debts that you are owing, which, they will draw from. Brother, I want to do this. I want to pay school fees. I want to pay rent and all of that. So we're indebted in that way. Then when you now come to the real debts, look at these loan apps now. So many Nigerians are really trapped in those things. And there must be a reorientation on lifestyle. Because some of these things are also fueled by poor lifestyle choices. People just want to spend money on this, on that, on things that are not helpful. And at the end of the day, they go and borrow money. They go and borrow money for what? And there is no real plan on how they'll pay back. Then Chetima talking about saboteurs being behind food crisis.
Yes.
You see, he's only trying to just engage in a face-saving measure. The key saboteurs are the headsmen who have not allowed farmers to ply their trade. Now, another part of the sabotage is that successive governments have refused to modernize our agricultural processes. So we still have a lot of subsistence farmers. If we can spend a lot of money and acquire tractors, then upgrade our farmers such that they can drive tractors, they can use farrows, they can use a lot of these things, combine harvesters, we will produce more.
But what do you think about Falana insisting on price control? Do you think that is draconian?
Do you need price control, really? What we need is capacity building. We need to upgrade our capacity. We don't produce enough. That is the problem. Why do you have to import fuel? Because we don't produce enough. So what we need to do is to produce more. And then again, okay, look at it this way. Look at the off-takers, like Olam, that have said they are suspending, mass mega purchases of maize, sorghum from farmers. Yes. Why should that happen? What is happening is that, okay, this teacup is supposed to rest on this saucer. So you're not saying, okay, you will suspend the teacup from resting on the saucer. Why you'll be using the saucer? Is it possible to use the saucer to drink tea? The answer is no. What we need to do is to expand capacity. Let those companies, those off-takers, also let government get them to also invest heavily in getting more people into agriculture, more Nigerians into agriculture. Now we have varieties. You can cultivate corn 3 times, maize 3 times in a year.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is this. If we can get security agencies to flush out undesirable elements, herdsmen, kidnappers from the forest, and
safeguard our borders also.
Yes. The issue of our borders is a different conversation. What I'm even talking about is the farms.
Oh, okay.
Travel from here to Ibadan on this Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You see a lot of forests.
Arable
What are we using them for? That's arable land. But if we farm this land, you will see, every year, you have the issue of flooding. It rained yesterday, and there was flooding everywhere. But if you channel this water properly into dams, into earth dams, you will find out that we have water for irrigation. There won't be flooding anywhere. Even if there's flooding, it will be minimal. But you have, so what it means is that the last harvesting of maize was in November. Part of it in December. Then, okay, everybody went home to enjoy the Yuletide. Then you came back in January to plant. Now you can plant. If you can irrigate your farm, you can plant. You can plant vegetables. Vegetables take 6 to 9 weeks. Yes, 6 to 9 weeks, and you are ready to harvest them. If you can provide irrigation. So we need to deal with some of these basic issues. Instead of talking of saboteurs, look, people will make sure that if they see that the way the supply is going, it won't be to their advantage. They will lock their shops and run away.
Very true. Very, very true. Well, that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. I'd love to say thank you to Emeka Madunago for being part of our show, and also love to beg you to hang around for our main conversation, if you may.
Thank you.
All right. So when we return, state policing in Nigeria, that in a bit. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.